Play the video, beta. R.K. Dwivedi, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege for me to be here. Welcome you all in IDYM. Very important about the Sustainable Development Goal number 13, the climate action. So it is my pleasure to welcome you all in this occasion. Today we are going to discuss about the official mission statement of this goal is to take urgent action on combat climate change and its impact. So SDG 13 target, which are to be achieved by 2030. There are 5 targets of the SDG in total, all of which covers a wide range of issues surrounding climate action. The first 3 targets are output targets, strength, resilience, and adaptive capacity to climate the related disaster, mitigate climate changes, measure into policies and planning. Build knowledge and capacity to meet climate change. The remaining 2 targets are means of achieving targets to implement the UN framework convention on the climate change and promote mechanism to raise capacity of the planning and management. The UN convention on the climate changes, that is UNFCCC, is a primary international intergovernmental forum for negotiating the global response. So in this part, the decade of 2010 to 2019, this decade is considered as the warmest decade recorded in history. the current climate changes, this current climate changes is affecting the global community in every nation across the world. The impact of the climate change not only impact national economics, but also lives and livelihoods. So especially those in vulnerable condition, by 2018, the climate change continued exacerbating the frequency of natural disaster. As you have seen, the greenhouse effect, wildfires, droughts, hurricanes, floods, all these are the examples of the climate change only. So it is time to discuss about this, how we can action plan to find out the ways and
I have lost the sir. Kedivedi sir, please call the first speaker. You are facing a lot of network problem.
okay. So I'm just calling, sir. So I'm going to call the first speaker of the day, is Farhan Haq. Farhan Haq from the Brunei, Darussalam, is a PhD scholar, fellow in the University of the Brunei, Darussalam. She graduated from the Manarat International University, Dhaka, Bangladesh, with a bachelor degree in the English literature. After that, she did the master degree in English literature from the Brak University, Dhaka. Apart from her studies, she has published more than 36 research papers in several international journals, USA, UK, India, South Africa, and Dubai. She also published 3 books, both nationally and internationally. So recently, she has achieved the Green Week Book of World Records certificates after winning one virtual international conference. She has also achieved, she is also active member in the different research scholars group. She has attended more than 500 virtual training program. And both as a keynote speaker and participant with the other famous educators from the different countries. So welcome, ma'am, Farhana Haq. You are most welcome to give a light on this climate change action.
So am I audible? Thank you. Thanks
Yep.
for your kind introduction about me. So first of all, I would like to thank Mr. Ravi Shankar Kumar and IDOM group of companies for giving me this great chance as a speaker today. So I would like to share my screen. Can I just share? So is it visible? Okay, so this is the first.
Good evening, ma'am. Can you please stop the background sound? So much noise is coming from background.
Sure.
There's some children are speaking. Please stop.
Yes. Wait a minute, please. Babu, তোমাকে যেতে বল।
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yeah. Can just I'm not seeing my
Yes, it is.
yeah. I have to share again the screen. Yeah. So this is the slide I would like to talk about today. And
Press the F5 button. Okay, ma'am. Done.
Yes.
Thank you.
so this is the first national conference on sustainable development goals and about the climate action, the theme. And I have chosen my topic as climate change and you. That's all from the introduction. So first of all, I would like to talk about that you should know that weather and climate both are not the same thing. There are some difference. So what is the difference between weather and climate? So weather this is short term, limited area. It can change rapidly, difficult to predict. So in a one sentence, weather is what's happening outside your window right now. Like you can see snowfall, sudden rainfall, storm, or any kind of thing that is called weather. So climate is the average of many years of weather observation. That is long term. It would be wide area, seasonal changes, and measured over long span of time. So climate is affected by many factors, that abiotic factors and biotic factors. So here is latitude, altitude, ocean currents, topography, solar radiation, evaporation, orbital variations, and volcanic activities. So the biotic factors are transpiration, respiration, photosynthesis, decomposition, and digestion. That is a very common thing, these factors. So the greenhouse gases are the essential thing to our climate, and the trapping of the sun's warmth in a planet's lower atmosphere due to the greater transparency of the atmosphere to visible radiation from the sun than to inflamed radiation emitted from the planet's surface. So the planets with very little greenhouse effects are either very cold, and these are the other planets than our planet Earth. So the example is Pluto's average temperature is 370 degrees Fahrenheit, which is cold, and or they have huge temperature swings from day to night. For example, Mars, there is about 300 degrees Fahrenheit between high and low temperatures. So planets with abundant greenhouse gases are very hot. So the average temperature on Venus is about 855 degrees Fahrenheit. So and then there is Earth, as I said, which is just right for the moment anyway. So the greenhouse gas content of the atmosphere is being altered by human activity. The result of this change is global warming. So this global warming is very dynamic issue since long, and nowadays also it is uh, very vital issue for us, the inhabitants of Earth. So this global warming, we should know what it is and how it happened, and the activities by global warming. You know, the human, we are creating this global warming actually. So human activities is changing our climate. The atmosphere acts like the glass of a greenhouse. Sun's rays hit the atmosphere and some are reflected. Some pass through and reach the earth and the earthworms. Certain gases in the atmosphere prevent most of the heat from the earth from escaping, such as carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor, ozone, nitrous oxide. These gases are called greenhouse gases. So this greenhouse effect makes earth suitable for life by keeping the earth at a habitat temperature. In other words, it is a good thing. So like this, the problem is that the level of all these greenhouse gases are increasing due to the increase in human activities in last centuries, and emphasize that burning of coal and fossil fuels is an important contributing activity to climate change. More heat is therefore being trapped due to the increased concentrations of greenhouse gases, and the Earth is warming. So the greenhouse gases are nowadays increasing, and carbon dioxide to atmosphere and the human activity, which is combustion, burning of coals and fossil fuels, deforestation. Then methane to atmosphere is here the human activity is landfills, agriculture and livestock. Then other gases to atmosphere, that is human activity, ozone from car exhaust and CFCs from aerosol. So we have already seen changes in our climate. The Earth's average temperature has increased by 0.74 degrees Celsius over the past century. Almost everywhere over the globe has seen temperature increases, land, ocean, and atmosphere. Some of the warmest years have been in the last 2 decades. So the daily temperature range difference between daily maximum and minimum temperature is also decreasing. This is what we call the global warming. So rainfall patterns have changed, and this is called the world has seen changes in amount, intensity, frequency, and types of precipitation. And rainfall is strongly characterized by variability, year-to-year variations. The warming temperatures cause other changes, including changes in rainfall. Trends vary widely by region and over time. So the global sea levels also has risen. During 20th century, average increase was 4.8 to 8.8 inches per century, 1.2 to 2.2 millimeter per year. So due to the expansion of ocean water, melting of mountain glaciers and small ice caps, warmer temperatures are also contributing to sea level rise. So there is new evidence to show that the rate of sea level rise may be at a greater rate than originally anticipated or measured. So more extreme weather is tropical storm and hurricane frequencies vary considerably from year to year. However, evidence suggests substantial increases in intensity and duration since 1970s. Hurricanes are not the only extreme measure of climate we have seen changes in. Since 1950, the number of the heat waves has increased and widespread increases have occurred in the number of warm nights. So the extent of regions affected by droughts has increased. Generally, numbers of heavy daily precipitation events that lead to flooding have increased, but not everywhere. In the extratropics, variations in tracks and intensity of storms reflect variations in major features of the atmosphere circulations. So here, what can be done? So this is what we should do something, we human being, to change the climate from worst thing to good thing. So first, we must admit that climate change is everyone's problem. No agency, no government or scientists can fix it for us. We are all in this together. So we got here because our lifestyle. So our lifestyle has to change. Here is what we can do. So heating and cooling. Now it is our responsibility to take steps. So first of all, for this thing, install programmable thermostats, check and repair weather stripping on doors and windows, adjust your clothing instead of the thermostat, keep furnace and AC filters clean, consider closing of unused rooms, install insulated drapes, plant deciduous trees on the sunny side of your home. Then the conserve hot water. So in the average home, 70% of energy is used to heat water. Take shorter shower, install low flow shower heads, install a blanket on your hot water heater, insulate hot water pipes, wash laundry in cold water, only run the dishwasher if it's full, fix leaky faucets. Then conserve in the car. That is, plan ahead, do several errands in a single trip, walk or bike, it is healthier anyway. Clean out the junk in the trunk. Lighter cars, better mileage. Make sure your engine is properly tuned. Keep your tires properly inflated. Carpool or ride the school bus. Support public transportation. Consider a smaller car or a hybrid for your next vehicle. Then conserve electricity. That is, unplug chargers for cell phones and other appliances when it's not in use. Get in the habit of turning lights and appliances off. Vacuum the coil on the back of the fridge monthly. Change to compact fluorescent bulbs. Make your next computer a laptop. Install timers or motion sensors on outdoor lights. Then the most important thing is reduce waste, recycle and buy recycled products, choose products that have less packaging, reuse, repair or donate. Don't buy it unless you really need it. Carry cloth bags when shopping. Use a refillable travel mug or water bottle. Give your time instead of material gifts or donate to a charity in the recipient's name. So here I would like to talk about my final remark. This is that climate has changed. Climate will continue to change. Climate demands change. So we have to act now. So there is no place like home, and there may never be again. So do your part. We all have to take part in this to make our climate uh, uh, a better place and make our planet Earth a better place for us. So I hope you all like my uh, slides or my presentation. Thanks, and thanks for your support and patience. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. As you rightly said about the climate change is a very now important points to discuss, and you have discussed various factors, long-term, land area, wind, then soil and all. You also discuss about the greenhouse gases and which are essential and how we can curb them. And moreover, you discuss about the human activities which are affecting our climate. Thank you very
Yes.
much for highlighting the point.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
And thank you for covering that the points which are very important that we should feel like that climate as we are doing at home.
Yes.
So equally CFC, landfill, agriculture, livestock, or these are the some human activities which are being done by the human. So we need to do in a right manner so that we can save our climate in better way.
Climate.
Thank you
Yeah.
for your action plan and
Thank you,
suggestion.
thank you.
Now I'd like to
Thanks.
call here our second speaker, Dr. Mario C Luceria. He is a PhD in education and received numerous awards from the more than 50 countries. Wow. He is an international world record holder, publishing 4 books, and he has been honored with a 50 honorary doctorate degree from the different colleges and universities, and many more. So welcome you, Dr. Mario, in the first national conference by IDYM. Please, Dr. Mario, you are requested. Are you? May I call Mr. Dr.
Sir,
Mario?
he's facing some network issue.
Okay.
He's joining in
Shall I
one
call
of.
another one?
Yeah, I will join. You can call the next speaker. He will be joining in the meantime.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Now, our second speaker is Ajra Taiji from Iran. I'd like to, yes, ma'am. You are the second IUU Global Edu Leaders Awardee of 2021, SPSC Ambassador Roundtable Exclusive Talk Show, episode of 7, Sharing is Caring with the Global Educator, and 21st DG Skills Team Speaker. Roundtable Exclusive Talk Show, 7, Sharing is Caring. International Conferences Speaker, University English Language Teacher, and English Language Teaching in PhD candidate. Welcome, ma'am, in IDYM conference.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank all team for organizing this opportunity, amazing opportunity, and I want to share my screen, but it is disabled for me. And now it is able. Thank you. Just a second for sharing. Now is visible?
Yeah. No, ma'am.
No, it's not visible.
Okay.
You must be
Okay.
share your PPT.
Yes. Now is there? I shared it.
Yes, okay.
Okay. I will continue. Okay. Yes, you can see in the first stage, slide, all goals of sustainable development, and our discussion and our topic is goal 13, climate action. Climate action. Here you can see goal 13, climate action. First of all, we should know the meaning and effect of climate change. You know, climate change means a long-term change in the Earth's overall temperature with massive and permanent ramifications. You can see here the next slide that we are a problem and we can also be the solution. We are all problem and we can also be the solution. Here you can see the solutions project, the solar energy and wind energy are
Ma'am,
useful energy.
please press the button F5 in your laptop. Please press the button F5.
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am. Please press the F5.
Is not visible. Is it okay?
Yeah, visual,
Is okay
ma'am,
now?
visual. The screen will become bigger. That's what I'm telling you. It is visible. It's looking.
Okay. Sorry. Just 1 minute. Wow. Yes. Here. Yes. The Sustainable Development Goals, building a better future for all. Goal system climate action, taking urgent action to tackle climate change and its impact. Why does it matter? Why does it matter for us? Climate change is affecting every country on every continent, and the global temperature is still rising. There is still a window of opportunity to limit climate change, but only if we take unprecedented action immediately. What do we need to do? We can make our cities greener. We can live more sustainably. We need to dramatically reduce emissions. Everyone need to be involved, including businesses, communities, and individuals. Despite a pandemic-related economic slowdown, the climate crisis countries largely unabated. A temporary reduction in human activity is resulted in emissions. However, a concentrations of greenhouse gases continued to increase in 2020, reaching a new record highs. It was one of 3 warmest years on record, with the global average temperature above the 1.2 degrees above the 1850 1900 baseline. The world remains woefully off track in meeting the Paris Agreement target of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels and reaching net zero carbon dioxide CO emissions. In the face of looming catastrophe, climate action is gaining momentum. In June 2020, the Race to Zero campaign was launched to form a coalition integration of businesses, cities, regions, and investors around net zero carbon emission initiatives and set up specific near-term tipping point for more than 20 sectors of the global economy. As of December 2020, over 2/3 of world's government development was being generated in places with actual or intended net zero by 2050 targets, covering over half of the world's population and emissions.
Azra,
The global-
listen one minute.
Yes.
Sorry, your slide is stuck.
Ma'am, your
Okay.
slide is stuck. Please, can you forward?
Yes,
Forward the
I
slides for the next slide. It's stuck on only 6 slides.
okay. I will share it. I will pause and share again. Okay. It is okay now. Can you see my slides? I shared it again.
No. It's stuck on number 6 slide. You
Oh,
can
sorry.
try to move.
Okay. I will do. I'm sorry for problem.
That
Yes.
slide.
Now can you see it?
Yes, now.
Yes, okay.
Okay. I will back to that slide. Yes. Okay, sorry for that problem. In the face of looming catastrophe, climate action is gaining momentum. In June 2020, the Race to Zero campaign was launched to form a coalition integration of business, cities, region, and investors around net zero carbon emission initiatives and set up specific near-term tipping points for more than 20 sectors of the global economy. As December 2020, over 2/3 of the world was being generated in places with actual or intended net zero by 2050 targets, covering over half of the world's population and emissions. The global pandemic has laid bare pure humanity's vulnerabilities. It has shown the world how much damage can be wreaked by a crisis that pales in comparison to a full-scale climate emergency. We must heed this wake-up call and seize the opportunity to rebuild in a way that will reduce emissions and increase resilience to climate change. Yes, sorry, sometimes there is a technical problems. Notwithstanding a global pandemic, countries are advancing climate action with the focus on adaptation. The voluntary efforts countries are making to reduce national emissions and adapt to the impact of climate change are described in their nationally determined contributions. Countries are articulating more quantified targets and indicators for adaptation and identify links between adaptation and sustainable development goals and other frameworks. The highest priority areas for adaptation identify food security, production, terrestrial and wetland economy system, freshwater resources, human health, and key economic sectors and services. An increasing number of countries are also prioritizing formulation and implementation of national adaptation plans to boost their effort to adjust to changing climate. These include building flood defenses, setting up early warning system for cyclones, or switching to drought-resistant crops. As of May 2021, developing countries were in process of formulating and implementing national adaptation, and 2020 countries have submitted their plans to the framework on Climate Change Secretariat. Developed countries are stepping up their effort to provide technical guidance and support, and which are particularly vulnerable to effects of climate change, to develop and carry out such plans. Yes. In addition to replacing our energy with wind, solar, we can harness a great deal of energy by harvesting biomass from many of our forests. We are the conversion of it to biochar, thereby locking the carbon in a stable solid. We can reproduce fertilizer with that energy and tandem with biochar. Biochar enhance the soil of forest we utilize, soil we grow in, etc., improving yield whilst actively sequestering carbon from atmosphere. If we use the energy to power indoor agriculture, vertical farming, we will be able to halve deforestation and potentially reforest farmland for energy and biochar. Yes, we are all in this event together. We need to act fast to reduce CO2 emissions. Government need to do more, shut pollution causing industries and vehicles without any favoritism, and promote renewable energy sources like solar, wind, tidal. Scientists need to explore new technology to capture the energy from lightning bolts. As individuals, what we can do, what we can do. One, try to reduce electricity bills as much as to 50%. Try to reduce the usage of vehicles. Avoid unnecessary overspending. Don't be extravagant. Try to live simple life. Avoid plastic, and that is another devil on our earth. It's all about our future generations. Think about them. They should have livable conditions on this earth. We need to answer about all pollution, corruption that we are causing on the earth. To solve problem, American engineers and construction experts years ago planned a city where nobody owned cars or drove cars. It was never built and possibly will never be built. The idea was to demolish New York City and surrounding suburb and plant the entire area with trees to create one giant central park. Then they would construct for a special building to house the entire population of New York, 2 million in each building. Each building would have lifts that traveled up and down and sideways. Each building would have hospitals, shopping centers, recreation centers, swimming pools, stadiums, whatever was needed. People would still live in houses in the building with lawns, etc. The buildings would be huge, of course, but instead of living outward in the suburbs, people would live upward in the suburb. It will never happen, but there is building in yes, that is built along the same lines. Yes, the second 2019 was the second warmest year and the end of warmest decade ever recorded. Carbon dioxide levels and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere rose to new record in 2019. Climate change is affecting every country and every continent. It is disrupting national economics and affecting lives. Weather patterns are changing, sea levels are rising, and weather events are becoming more extreme. Yes. Also, greenhouse gas emissions are projected to drop above 6% in 2020 due to travel bans and economic slowdowns resulting from COVID-19 pandemic. This improvement is only temporary. Once global economy begins to recover from the pandemic, emissions are expected to return to higher levels. Saving lives and livelihoods require really urgent action to address both the pandemic and climate emergency. As countries move toward rebuilding their economy after COVID-19, recovery plans can shape the 21st century economy in ways that are clean, green, healthy, safe, more resilient. The current crisis is an opportunity for a profound systematic shift to a more sustainable economy that works for both people and the planet. 6 climate positive action, and my final remarks for this discussion are 6 climate positive actions. Green transition. Investments must accelerate the decarbonization of all aspects of our economy. Green jobs, sustainable and inclusive growth. Green economy, making society and people more resilient through transition that is fair to all and leave no one behind. Invest sustainable solutions, fossil fuel subsides must end and polluters must pay for their pollution. Confront all climate risks. Cooperation. No country can succeed alone. To address all climate emergency, post-pandemic recovery plans need to trigger long-term systemic shifts that will change the trajectory of CO2 levels in the atmosphere. Governments around the world have spent considerable time and effort in recent years to develop plans to chart a safer and more sustainable future for their citizens. Taking these on board now as part of recovery planning can help world build back better from the central crisis. To address the climate emergency, post-pandemic recovery plans need to trigger long-term systematic shifts that will change the trajectory of CO2 levels in the atmosphere. Governments around the world have spent time, effort, recent years to develop plans to chart. Yes, and at the end, tackling climate change, Goal 13 calls for urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. It is intrinsically linked to all 60 of the other goals of 2030 and Agenda for Sustainable Development. Why we need action? Climate change is now affecting every country. Yes, and people are experiencing significant impacts of climate change, include changing weather patterns, rising sea level, and more extreme weather events. Greenhouse gas emissions from human activities are driving climate. Yes. And the last point. Yes, and the last point for me, the pace of change is quickening as more people are turning to renewable energy and a range of other measures that will reduce emissions and increase adaptation efforts. But climate change is global change that does not respect national borders. Emission anywhere affect people everywhere and requires solutions need to be coordinated at international level and requires international cooperation to help developing countries more toward a low carbon economy. It was my end of discussion. And this is the agenda for 2030 target. Yes, and thank you for your interest.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It was a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have rightly highlighted the 6 action plan, which are the
Yes,
very important. These green transition, green economy, and investment in the sustainable solution, cooperation, tackling climate changes, and planning for the climate solution.
thank you very
So
much for this opportunity.
thank you so much for your wonderful talk. Now I'd like to invite our next speaker, Mokshi, Miss Mokshi. Virat from Canada, founder director of NGO Indo-Canadian Art and Culture Initiative ICACI, a realtor, TV and radio host, community leader, and her passion lies in the community services and making a difference in the lives of her fellow citizens. Her accomplishment includes founder director of Indo-Canadian Art and Culture Initiatives, and she's a volunteer coordinator of the Caribbean Cabron that aims to build cross-culture bridge and promote diversity and inclusion with the Brampton. Volunteer at Langar Seva because philanthropy is the best form of serving to our fellow citizens. She has been also recognized in many organizations, worked as a volunteer, chair of the school council, appointed president of Toronto, Canada for the World Book of Records, UK. Mokshi is an expert in the area of women's empowerment, providing leadership, support charities and NGOs, building social connection, mentoring and helping new immigrants, youth empowerment. She has been appointed as the president of World Book of Record for Toronto. She has been appointed for BICI, Canada, India Business Council, and so many awards also she has been recognized.
Yes, ma'am, I think it's facing some network problem. You can continue. Please
Welcome.
continue, ma'am.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you for such a nice introduction. As you said, I'm involved in South Asian community as an event organizer, speaker, mentor, international author, radio and TV host, and a founder director of a not-for-profit organization known as Indo-Canadian Arts and Culture Initiative. My passion lies in community service and making a difference in the life of fellow citizens. I moved to Canada in 2002 and decided to start a not-for-profit organization in 2014 with the main purpose of supporting and empowering women, newcomers to Canada, youth, and seniors through community programs and events. It's my honor today to be a part of National Conference on Sustainable Development Goals 13 Climate Action being organized by IDYM Foundation. As we know, SDG 13 is about climate action, and it's one of the 17 sustainable goals established by UN in 2015. Why is SDG 13 important? SDG 13 urges to take action to combat climate change and its impact around the world. Climate change is now affecting every country in every continent. It is disrupting national economies and affecting lives, costing people, communities, and countries dearly today and even more tomorrow. How SDG 13 can be achieved? This is an important question. So the companies can contribute to this SDG by decarbonizing their operations and supply chains through continually improving energy efficiency, reducing the carbon footprint of their products, services, and processes, and setting ambitious emission reduction targets in line with the climate science. What are the top 5 things that we can do as a community to address climate change? We should urge our government to take bold, ambitious climate action now. Top climate scientists issued a code red for humanity recently, warning that this is our last chance to avoid the most dangerous impacts of climate change. Even in Canada, climate targets are critically insufficient, so we have to do our part and do our fair share on global scale. The climate crisis won't wait. We should use energy wisely and save money. Canada is the top per capita energy consumer in the world. By becoming more energy efficient, we not only pollute less, but also save money. Consider making some or all of these small changes. Together, they can really add up. A house with a furnace is like a car that idles all day. So swap your furnace for a heat pump, which works by extracting heat from one location and transferring it to another. Install a programmable thermostat. Swap your gas stove for an electric stove, which will also lower indoor air pollution. Unplug computers, TVs, and other electronics when not using. Wash clothes in cold water. Hand dry your clothes when you can and use dry balls when you can't. Look for Energy Star label when buying new appliances. Winterize your home to prevent heat from escaping and try to keep it cool in summers without air conditioners. Change to energy efficient light bulbs. We need to do our part. We can eat for a climate stable planet. The decision we make about our food can be profound effect on the environment. Here are the simple ways that we can make our diet more climate friendly. Eat more meat-free meals. Buy organic, local whenever possible. Don't waste food. Grow your own food. Start a climate conversation. Solving climate change requires all of us to work together. We can't do without finding common ground with those who may not share their own perspective. Since people often trust peers, family members, and loved ones more than they trust experts, scientists, or environmental organization, you can talk to your people about climate change in a way we can't. You're more likely to open people's minds. Green your commute. In Canada, transportation accounts for 24% of climate polluting emissions. So there are many ways to reduce the transportation emission that'll also make us healthier, happier, and save few bucks too. Whenever and wherever you can, take public transit, ride a bike or advocate the bike lanes in your community, car share. If you have a large inefficient vehicle, retire it and switch to an electric or plug-in hybrid vehicles. That's a trend these days. Most of the vehicles are coming in hybrid. Get politically active and vote. Although it is important to take action to reduce our individual carbon footprints, we also need to focus on changing the larger systems. That's where we have greater opportunity to reduce emissions. Vote for the leaders at all levels of government who take climate change seriously. They should commit to setting science-based targets to reduce harmful carbon emissions, implementing clear plans and reach those targets, adopting to climate change and shifting to a clean energy economy. What are the benefits of taking action on climate change? Main benefits are new jobs, green jobs, economic growth of the country, cleaner air and more efficient public transport systems in cities, new technologies such as electric or plug-in hybrid cars, energy efficient homes or offices with intelligent heating and cooling systems. To summarize, I would like to say that doing nothing on climate action plan will end up costing us a lot more. So let's take action now that will lead to more jobs, greater prosperity, and better lives for all of us while reducing greenhouse gas emissions and building climate resilience. That's my take on this today. Thank you for making me a part of this.
Thank you so much. Such a nice keynotes.
Thank you.
Okay, Arkati sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, please switch off your one device. That's why it's going. Hello.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a wonderful talk, and you have rightly highlighted the points on this critical points of the carbon footprint. I'm happy to share you, ma'am. Our Dalmia Bharat group is also has committed to make a zero carbon footprint, and all the industry will be converted into 100% this renewable energy, which has already started in Odisha. We have established 16.167 megawatt power plant of the solar panel. So we are already in this process. And you also rightly said that we have to use the hybrid car for the global requirement, and energy efficient home also. Sharing based car is also equally important. So thank you very much for your wonderful talk. I welcome, ma'am. And now our next speaker is Dr. Mario C Luceria.
Mario sir is facing some problems to join because he has sent me a message that he is not able to get in the meeting. So
Okay.
we have some student from Kaushal ma'am. Are you there? Kaushal ma'am.
Sir, on behalf of her, I would like to invite my students from the Learning Center
please.
International. So we are having 3 students today. I would like to invite Bhumika Tiwari first. Bhumika, are you there, Vita?
Yes, most welcome, Bhumika.
Bhumika?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Okay.
Ma'am, I would like to request to make my friend Prashasti the co-host so that we can present the screen. Ma'am, I'm not able to share the screen.
You are a co-host, beta. You are a co-host.
Prashasti. No, sir, please make co-host to Prashasti. Yes.
Prashasti, can he see raise her hand?
Prashasti, raise your hand. Prashasti, yes.
She is not raising her hand, ma'am. Where is she?
Bhumika, can't you share your screen?
Okay, ma'am, I'll try to share.
You share it.
Good evening to one and all present here. My name is Bhumika Tiwari and I'm a student of class 9 in the Learning STEM International School, Piparia. The Sustainable Development Goal 13 is about climate action, and that is our today's topic. So what does climate action means? Sustainable Development Goal 13 is about climate action and is one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals established by the United Nations in 2015. Climate change is increasing the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events such as heat waves, droughts, floods, and tropical cyclones, aggravating water management problems, reducing agricultural production and food security, increasing health risks, damaging critical infrastructure, and interrupting the provision of basic services such as water and sanitization, education, energy, and transport. Climate change is a real and undeniable threat to the entire civilization. The effects are already visible and will be catastrophic unless we act now. Through education, innovation, and adherence to our climate commitments, we can make the necessary changes to protect planet. These changes also provide huge opportunities to modernize our infrastructure, which will create new jobs and promote greater prosperity across the globe. Now let's discuss the causes of climate change. Human activity is the main cause of climate change. People burn fossil fuels and convert land from forest to agricultural. Since the beginning of Industrial Revolution, people have burned more and more fossil fuels and changed vast areas of land from forests to farmlands. Human activities have released large amount of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, which has changed the Earth's climate. Natural processes such as change in the sun's energy and volcanic eruptions also affects the Earth's climate. However, they do not explain the warming that we have observed over the last centuries. This warming isn't the same everywhere. Some areas with crucial ecological importance, like around the poles, are warming at 2 or 3 times the global average. Some other causes of the climate change are greenhouse gases, reflectivity and or absorption of the sun's energy, variations in solar energy, volcanic activities, deforestation caused by human beings, changes in the Earth's reflectivity, consumerism, transport and vehicles, oil drillings, the waste that humans are generating, the increase in global warming, and the increasingly intensive agriculture. Now let's discuss a climate record. The change in temperature of Earth is very vast. 2019 was the second warmest year on record, and the end of the warmest decade, 2010 to 2019, ever recorded. Carbon dioxide levels and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere rose to new records in 2019. Earth's temperature has risen by 0.14 degree Fahrenheit per decade since 1880, and the rate of warming over the past 40 years is more than twice that, 0.32 Fahrenheit per decade since 1981. The heat content of the ocean has increased. Global average sea level has risen by approximately 16 centimeters since 1901 due to both the expansion of warmer ocean water and to the addition of meltwaters from the glacier and ice sheets on the land. Now here's a graph that shows the yearly surface temperature anomalies since 1880. We can see how the average temperature of Earth is increasing year by year and decade by decade. This is very vast and it is very harmful for our environment. If there is a challenge, there is a solution as well. So to reduce the climate change, here are some ways. Use energy wisely and save money too. Consume less, waste less, enjoy life more. Invest in renewable and divest from fossil fuels. Mobilize for local climate action. Add solar panels to your house. Obsess over every drop of water. Recycle and reduce the food waste that we create every day. Climate change is affecting every country on every continent. It is disrupting national economies and affecting lives. Weather patterns are changing, sea levels are rising, and weather events are becoming more extreme. Although the greenhouse gas emissions are projected to drop about 6% in 2020 due to travel bans and economic slowdowns resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic, this improvement is only temporary. Climate change is not a pause. Once the global economy begins to recover from the pandemic, emissions are expected to return to high levels. This is a huge risk. So thank you everyone for your time and attention.
Thank you, Bhumika. Sir, I would
Thank you.
like to
Thank you, Bhavna. It was a nice presentation. Wonderful talk. Very good.
One more is
As
there,
a
sir. One more
students,
is
you
there.
have done a good presentation, and I'm happy that your generation is thinking about the climate action plan. So that's a really good sign for the future. Anybody else want to talk?
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
you are most
We have
welcome.
some
Please.
more
Now I
students.
would like to invite Prashasti Vyas. Prashasti, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. My name is Prashasti Vyas, and I am the student of Class 8 in the Learning STEM International School, Piparia. Now, what is meant by climate action? Climate action means step up effort to reduce greenhouse gas emission and strengthen resilience and adaptive capacity to climate induced impact including climate-related hazards in all countries, integrated climate changes measures into national policies, strategies and planning, and improving education, awareness, raising human and institutional capacity with respect to climate changes, mitigation, adaptation, impact reduction, and early warning. Humans and wild animals faces new challenges for survival because of climate changes, more frequent and intense drought, storms, heat waves, rising in the sea level, melting of glaciers, and warm ocean can directly harm animals, destroy the places they live, and wreak havoc on people's livelihood and communities. Doing nothing will end up costing us a lot more than if we take action now that will lead to more jobs, great prosperity, and better lives. A strong climate agreement backed action on the ground will help us to achieve the sustainable development goal to end poverty, build stronger economy, and safer, healthier, and happier, more livable society everywhere. So let us take urgent action to combat climate changes and its impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashati Vyas. Very nicely spoken. Anybody else, please?
Yeah, my last participant is Sakina.
Sakina, beta, please.
Sakina?
Yeah. Myself, Sakina Bora from grade 6, the Learning STEM International School. I am here to tell you something about climate action. Sustainable Development Goal 13 is about climate action and is one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals established by the United Nations in 2015. The official mission statement of this goal is to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. SDG 13 has targets which are to be achieved by 2030. Now let's talk about climate change. Climate change refers to a long-term shift in temperature and weather patterns. These shifts may be natural, but since the 18th, humans' activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gases, which produces heat-trapping gases. Nowadays, climate change is a very serious issue. It is happening because of the global warming, and the causes from which global warming is happening are as follows. Extreme use of oil and gases, deforestation or cutting down of trees, throwing waste or creating pollution, wrong method of farming, and many more. This is only the one reason for the climate change. Climate change also occurs because of the Earth's climate, its influence and change through natural causes like volcano eruptions, ocean currents, the Earth's orbital changes, solar variations, and internal variability. We can fix climate change by the following solutions. Invest in renewable energy, switch to sustainable transports, help us in keeping homes cozy, protect forests like Amazon rainforest, protect oceans, afforestation, or planting trees. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakina. Thank you very much for nicely spoken about the given topic. Anybody else, please?
Good evening, sir. This is Dr. Pooja from Billabong. Two students from Billabong, sir, from Vadodara.
Okay, please.
Yeah, Pragya. Pragya, are you there, Vita?
Yes, I am there.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
First of all, I'll say thank you to Dr. Pooja ma'am and my school, Billabong High International School, and this foundation to give me a chance to speak upon this. So, may I start?
Yes, please.
Yes. So, Barack Obama had once said, "No challenge poses a greater threat to future generations than climate change." Hello, everyone. My name is Pragya Rai Chaudhary from Grade 8B. Today, I will be speaking about the 13th goal of the Sustainable Development Goal, which is the climate action. There are 16 other goals too for the SDG, like no poverty and reduced inequalities. So, what is the climate action? Are there any targets or achievements of this goal? What are the actions to be taken to save the world from severe climatic issues? Well, climate action is an act of doing something, that is, to take an action to reduce and, if possible, then stop the climate changes taking place and preventing serious permanent damages to the environment. There are total 3 targets of this goal. They are strengthening resilience and adaptive capacity to climate-related disasters. Second, integrate climate change measures into policies and planning. Build knowledge and capacity to meet climate change. Certain actions that could be taken to reduce or stop the climatic conditions are: first, reducing car use and increasing public transport, or even better, walking or cycling. Eating plant-based food. It means that cutting down most of the non-vegetarian food items. Third, reducing food wastes and eating or buying only what you need. Fourth, using reusable bottles, cutleries, etc. Fifth, power in numbers. Increase in the number of people knowing and acting upon the action discussed above before would help a lot to the environment, as more people will come to know about the issue and try to contribute in the actions to be taken. More the amount of people, then more will be the amount of the different and unique types of strategies to go through this. Then, who are these people that will to take up these actions? It might be anybody from the whole world. It might be me or maybe even you all. Imagination, creativity, and will to work upon this is all that this goal needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Pragya.
Yeah,
Thank you,
sir.
Bhurat.
Other
Please.
participant, sir, is Kamya Johari. Kamya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So first of all, thank you for giving me this platform, IDYM. So may I start?
Yes, please.
Yes. If the world is guided by children, it would be a paradise because in children's eyes, life is colorful. So please, for heaven's sake, don't destroy the imagination. This is the plea I would like to make to each and every individual, policymaker, environment champion living on Mother Earth. We have everything written in the books, be it the goals or the action plan. Now the time has come to implement them before it is too late. Let me tell you that the climate has not changed. We have changed. Our tolerance and habits have changed, as aptly quoted by my Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. Good evening, galaxy of eminent speakers and panelists. I'm Kamya Johari of Grade 6 from Billabong High International School, Vadodara. Today, I'll be sharing my views on Sustainable Development Goal number 13. Well, what comes to your mind when you hear the word climate change? Disasters like tornadoes, floods, wildfire, melting ice, etc. All of this is linked to climate change, but there is something else that most of us don't know about. Climate change is triggering conflict. It is the biggest security threat of the future. What makes me say that? Well, there's a gargantuan block of ice in Antarctica which is responsible for this perilous threat. This massive block is high as a 6-story building as big as the Indian state of Delhi. The world calls it the Doomsday Glacier, and this glacier is falling apart. 5 years from now, this glacier will collapse, and when this happens, it will unleash chaos. The entire coastal line would be rewritten. Large chunks of territories would disappear. When this glacier melts, global sea levels would rise up to 3 meters. Do you know what that means? Major cities like Miami would completely submerge underwater. So will southern Bangladesh and parts of the Netherlands and New York City. This disaster is coming, whether you like it or not, or whether we acknowledge it or not. This is no longer a projection. This is a clear and present danger. It is too late to save the glacier, but we do have time to prepare. We are not completely out of option. We can slow down the melting of ice, but for that, we need to bring global warming under control by drastically cutting emissions, and that's where politics comes in. Politics, climate financing, blame games, hypocrisy, and summits and meetings that do not deliver results are the major concerns. The latest one was at United Nations Security Council. UNSC discussed a resolution and the pitch was quite simple. Treat climate change as a global security threat. 12 out of 15 nations backed this resolution. What about the remaining 3? Russia blocked it. India voted against it and China abstained from voting. But it was Russia's resolution that Russia's vote that killed the resolution, as Russia is a permanent member of the Security Council. Moscow has given 2 reasons. First, such powers would politicize the issue of climate change. Second, they would empower the Western world to intervene in the domestic issues of other countries, which are both fair points. Hence, viable apolitical policies should be made without any vested interest so that they're unanimously agreed upon. Can we win this race? Yes, of course, as affordable, scalable solutions are now available to enable countries to leapfrog to cleaner, more resilient economies. The pace of change is quickening as more people are turning to renewable energy and a range of other measures that will reduce emissions and increase adaptation effort. Awareness is the key. I feel that we should encourage environmental education as part of the school and college curriculum. It is essential to socialize and humanize all environmental issues. Steps as simple as concentrating on 3 R's, that is reuse, reduce, and recycle. Like for reusing, the leftover water of washed pulses and grains can be used to water our plants, which is good for their health as well. This will help us to save potable water, which would vanish in no time if we don't pay heed to this rare commodity. We should not use our vehicles for small distances. This will help in reducing our carbon footprints in the environment. We should not use products that cannot be recycled. Aren't these simple things to follow? I will re-emphasize and reiterate that it is our responsibility to protect the environment for next generation by taking action rather than blaming each other. Government should allocate a defined sum of their GDP to promote investment in research and development in environment-friendly solutions. To recapitulate, we must all develop ways to meet these needs so that our future generation can inherit a healthier and a greener planet. And in my opinion, this problem can be solved by the power of I. This means that each and every individual living on Mother Earth should pledge to protect it. Let me end my speech by quoting the erstwhile President of the United States, Mr. Ronald Reagan. Preservation of our environment is not a liberal or the conservative challenge. It is common sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamya Jory. It was a wonderful talk and you have spoken very nicely. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Pooja.
Thank you,
Anybody
Sri
else?
Devi sir. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity, sir.
It's your platform that IDBIM giving the platform. I must thank to IDBIM direct chairman, founder, Sri Ravi sir. He is a man of vision. I think 21st century vision. What he's keeping and connecting to the people across the world. And this is the platform where the people are more than 100 countries has been connected already with this IDBIM. And the day by day, we are enriching and sharing and learning the knowledge. And in this platform, the new talks are going on, especially the Sustainable Development Program, which is the second time implemented this one. And this will be continued throughout the month. So we are lucky that we are the part of this program. Anybody else want to talk, please? Shall I conclude the session?
Sir, Divedi sir, before that we will share the certificates so that the speaker can get some relax. So they are waiting from so long.
Yes.
Technical team, please share the certificates. Yes, Divedi sir, please continue.
Yeah, welcome, ma'am. This is the token of love from the IDBIM on this SDG 13 goal climate, the Farhan Haq.
Thank you. Many thanks.
Welcome, ma'am.
For this
Congratulations.
honor. Thank you.
Congratulations. Wonderful talk we have here today. Next is, yes, Mokshwar. Welcome, ma'am. You have wonderfully spoken about the climate change. Congratulations. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation today and being with us and discuss about the climate changes. Thank you, ma'am. Welcome. Next is Dr. Mario C Lucerio. He could not join today because of some network issue, but we also honor him. Congratulations, sir. Thank you very much for being with us. Due to technical glitches, you could not join us. I'm sure in future you will again join with us. Next is
please share the next certificate. How many certificates is shared, sir?
3 only.
Oh, no. See, I lost the connection. Connection is lost. 2 more certificates are there.
Okay.
Denul, are you there? Can you present those certificates? Denul, can you hear me? Hello, Denul.
She's a very dynamic girl. Denul, please.
I think she is also facing some network problem.
No issue, sir. Your words are
Okay,
more
1 minute, sir. I will
more than
present
that.
from
More than that, what you say about giving opportunity to us, we are really blessed. and we are so much happy that we are the part of this IDYM team. And what IDYM is doing, I think no one group can lead to us. So it's a really, thank you very much, Ravi sir.
Yes, sir. Now she will present. CH can enter into the meeting. She will present now. Actually,
Yes.
some network
Next certificate,
problem
please.
is there. 1 second, sir. 1 second. She has just joined. I will make her co-host. Then she lost the connection because sir.
Okay.
Beta, present the certificate now. Now she is a co-host. Yeah, please present the certificate. 2 more certificates are there. Yeah. Please present the rest 2 certificates.
Yeah, this certificate is for me. Thank you very much, sir, for me to give
Pooja
this.
ma'am, please congratulate R. K. Dwivedi sir for his tremendous efforts.
Yes, sir. A big round of applause for Dwivedi sir for moderating. Such a wonderful moderator, sir, you are. And you are an inspiration for all of us. Thank you so much, sir, for appreciating our speakers and giving the feedback. Thank you once again, Dwivedi sir.
It is my pleasure, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this honor. I'm really honored for this way. And thank you, Ravi sir, with your great support and encouraging to all of us. It's a wonderful. Now next, please.
Okay, sir. So anybody want to share something, you can speak or we will wind up the meeting. Anyone from audience side, if you want to share something, please go ahead before we wind up. I think, sir,
hello.
all are, yeah, please.
Yeah, this is Sam from Liberia, Sam Luceria. I really appreciate the online platform learning. Indeed, this shows a network, and I've been following every activity here. So I want to say big thanks to the facilitator who took his time over the past hour educating on everyone on all as respect to how we manage, how we spend less, how we live simple life. I do appreciate that. I want to say big thanks to everyone, the participant, the facilitator. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful words. Anybody else, Bob?
Anybody else you want to speak something, please go ahead, or else we will wind up the meeting. Okay, fine. So I think, sir, all are done now. So,
thank you. So with this one word, I would like to, sir, finish this, close this session. As greenhouse emission of the developed country in the transitions have declined by 6.5%. However, the emission of the developing countries are up by 43% in the period of between 2000 to 2019. At least 120 to 153 developing countries had undertaken activities to formulate and implement the national adaptation policy. So, leading to the sources of greenhouse gases, saving the countries need to focus on this order to realize their community commitment under the Paris Agreement are switching fuels to renewable energy and enhancing end-to-end energy efficiency. Thank you very much to all the speakers. Thank you to all participants. And thank you to all team, and especially the young children, those who have spoken very nicely. I must thank to all the children. Thank you, Dr. Pooja. And thank you, Ravi sir and Denur also. Thank you all. Namaste. With this, my word.
Thank you so much, sir. Elivit ma'am, you want to speak something?
What is it?
Elivit ma'am from Philippines.
Okay. I think, sir, I think one certificate is not given to, so I think, sir. Ajra, I think she did not get.
Yeah, certificate is in the PPT for everyone, sir. I think some mistake in the presentation.
Okay. Sure, sir.
It is there for her also. Yeah. Please, ma'am, please speak.
Yes, please, ma'am.
All right. So good evening, everyone. Good evening, all the honorables here and ambassadors. So in behalf of this SDG 13, we have to put into indicators of this SDG. So one is the important is the mortality rates, the internally displaced persons, the missing persons in total numbers affected by natural disasters. And of course, we have to very strengthen the resilience, adaptive capacity to climate-related hazards and natural disasters in all countries. So in these indicators, we have to be very particular with the environment. We have to particular with our planting of our trees, and of course we have to love our Mother Earth, and of course we have to reduce, reuse, and constantly we have to make our place best for environment. So plant trees today. We need to be protect ourselves and protect also the Mother Earth. And starts today, we have to make this as a role model of this country. And of course, asking everyone to be plant trees and make sure that you have to plant trees, 100 trees a year, so that you have to be more productive and effective educators this 21st century. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Lilibeth. Thank you very much for your nice words. Anybody else? I think we can close the session, sir.
We can close the session. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us. And Arka Dwivedi sir, with your permission, all the